Hi guys, my name is Lori and welcome to the Icing Artist. So today we're going to be making a minion cake. Now here I have three 4-inch round cakes, and as you can see they're all kind of cupped up at the top, kind of domed over from the way they baked. I'm going to level out 2 of them, and that's so that way they stack nice and easy, but I'm going to leave the one cupped as a kind of minion-y shaped head. Now because I'm stacking them like this and they're going to be really tall, I'm going to tier mine just so I know that they're going to be okay and they're not going to collapse. So I'm going to start stacking them using some buttercream icing. As you can see, I'm setting my minion towards the back of my board, and that's the way I leave enough room for the feet to go on afterwards. After I stacked up my 2 cakes, I'm going to measure out my dowels, cut them the same height. I'm going to use 3. And then just insert those into my cake. And that's going to be plenty of support for my 3rd cake kind of going on top of it. On top of my dowels, I'm going to use a thin coat of buttercream icing. I'm going to put a 4-inch cake plate, and then another thin coat of icing. And then I'm going to put my other cake right on top of that. Now of course you can do this same cake design in a 6-inch cake or an 8-inch cake or a 10-inch cake. You just want to make sure it's nice and tall like a minion. Marking the same height. And then I'm just going to sharpen the one end of my dowel. And this so I can hammer right through the middle cake board, right into the bottom cake board. So it's going to really kind of dowel my cake right to the cake board, holding it nice and straight and steady. As you can see, it's very sturdy. That cake is not going anywhere. Now I'm ready to start icing my cake using a large round tip and my yellow buttercream icing, just going around the cake. I'm just going to do a nice thin coat first, just a nice little kind of light crumb coat. And then a thicker coat going all the way around. And I'm just really covering the whole cake. And once your cake is completely covered in buttercream icing, you can start smoothing it out. So I'm just going to take my spatula and just kind of take off any excess icing as I'm kind of pushing it onto my cake and smoothing it out. Kind of turning it around. I'm going to start off at the sides and then work my way around the top. Once your cake is roughly smooth, you can take a piece of paper towel and use the smooth side of it and just kind of rub it on the side of your cake, and that's going to help smooth out your icing. Now you don't actually need your cake to crust to do this, as long as your icing isn't too sticky. If it's too sticky, then of course you will need it to crust. You're going to be able to tell if the icing starts coming off kind of on your paper towel. Once I've done the sides, I'm just going to round over the top. And this is going to give me a really nice seamless finish, kind of like a fondant cake would. There you go, it's looking nice and smooth. Now using a toothpick, I'm just going to mark out where those coveralls are kind of going to go. Mark at the top of them, and then steadying my hand onto my turntable, I'm just going to turn it around like this and make a nice level line. This is just to guide me so that way I put on my icing and then do it kind of straight. I don't know about you guys, but I tend to go kind of wonky if I don't mark it out first, so I find it always easier to mark out where I'm going to put it before I put all the blue icing on. And just follow that line. And you're really just filling it in. Now, of course, to make royal blue icing, I've added a lot of dye into this, so my icing is a lot more tacky than it was when I was using the yellow buttercream. So I'm going to let it crust slightly for a couple minutes before I pat it down with a piece of paper towel. Once it's crusted, you can see it just smooths right out. And the same way we ice the rest of the cake, I'm just going to kind of go around and smooth out that icing. Now I can pipe on his arms. And I'm just going to mark with my finger, diagonally kind of where the arm is going to go. Follow that line. And there you have your second arm. And I kind of pat those smooth, and then on his shoulder there, I'm just going to push that a little bit more into the cake. Now with this cake, you're really working in layers. So the coveralls will kind of go under his arms, and then we're going to do his legs and then the straps, and we're going to kind of build on the cake. And once that's crusted, again, just lightly tap it. I like that this cake is all 100% buttercream without any fondant. It's just a little bit different and it's going to taste really yummy. And there's his little front pocket. And using some white buttercream, I'm going to do one big eyeball. But of course, if you're making another kind of minion and he needs 2 eyes, you can do 2 eyeballs. I'm going to flatten that out. And I want my minion to have an eyelid, so I'm just going to mark where I want my eyelid to go, and then using a smaller tip, I'm using a tip number 5, I'm going to pipe on my yellow buttercream, and then just kind of fill that in. And then again, I'm just going to kind of pat that down. Make it nice and smooth. Using some brown buttercream, I'm just going to make a little half circle for his eye. And then, of course, it needs a black center. And a little white dot. I'm just going to mark where I want the line for those goggles to go. And then pipe on my black buttercream. Now again, black buttercream, similar to blue buttercream, you need to add a lot of color, so you're going to need to let that crust nicely before you pat it down. And I'm just going to pipe 3 little lines and then 1 line across there for his hand. Again, you're just piping 3 kind of little lines there, and then joining them with the 1 little line. And that's going to be for his gloves, and just these big kind of blobs for his shoes. Lightly pat those down. And then using a large tip, I'm going to pipe around that big goggle using some gray buttercream. And 2 little lines where it joins onto the strap. There, he's starting to look like a minion. Now this is the fun part. This is where we get to actually make the personality of the minion. So we're going to add his mouth and his hair and do some fun facial expressions. So I'm going to give mine a little grin. Right now I'm making Stuart from the new Minions movie. So he has this kind of comb over haircut. So I'm just going to pipe some lines going across. And do the same on the other side. And then I've also made Kevin using the same method, as well as Bob.
Well, I hope you guys really like what I came up with for the Minions movie. I hope you guys really like the movie. And if you guys would like to see any other kind of Minion designs I came up with, you can see some of my videos here. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because I do put out new videos every week and you guys aren't going to want to miss it. And for you guys who keep coming back and watching every week, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like and share this video if you like it, to share it with your friends, get it kind of out there in the world, and I will see you guys all later. Bye. Bye for now.